Hello, everybody, and welcome again. We're on episode 4, which is of our series Help, I'm Stuck at Home. And today is Monday. The episode we're talking about is managing your vulnerabilities. Now, I don't really like talking about my vulnerabilities, and I'm not sure if you do. So I'm really interested to hear about this, and maybe you can guide us on it. My name is Karen House, Leanne Hunt. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And the first question I'd like to ask you then is, what kinds of things have you heard people complaining about at the moment?
Okay, we are on, as you said, day 4 of the lockdown in South Africa. We've just come out of the weekend, and I think the weekend was probably pretty normal for many people and very abnormal for others, because weekends are the time when they would normally go out and about and maybe go to the movies and go to parties and to the club and whatnot. None of that they were able to do. So I think I've spoken before about frustration. There's a huge amount of boredom. I think some people have a sense of resignation. Other people are angry because they're judging those who aren't complying. So there's quite a lot of anger and resentment. I think the other thing I've picked up is self-pity. And, let me think what... Yeah, it's really across the board. I think if you talked about any emotion, it would be there, because it's just such an unusual experience.
It is
It's a
unusual.
real time.
Yeah, for me, it's actually just not being able to walk the dogs or see my horse go into the outdoors. I find that really hard at the moment, yes. And then what have you found hardest yourself about being stuck at home? What is it like for you?
Yeah, well, I suppose this is quite a personal aspect, but because I'm visually impaired, I do have somebody who usually helps me around the house, and she keeps things tidy and wipes counters where I've maybe spilled something or not noticed that something was messy. And now that she's not here, because she had to go into lockdown as well, my husband notices all these little bits and pieces, and where the budgies have thrown their seed all over the tabletop, and he says, "This hasn't been cleaned in days," and whatnot. I feel judged in that position, and I really don't like it. That's the thing I really find the hardest, is the sense of being criticized and judged. And I know he's not coming from that place, but normally, as I say, I have somebody to help me, and now I don't. So yeah, it's just the housework is the worst for me.
It is, yes, absolutely. So then, perhaps you can give us some advice just to adjust to this new normal. What advice could you give people today? Especially since you
Okay,
are
well,
visually
really
impaired, it would be nice to know from your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I want to try and sort of make this general for everybody. So I think the biggest lesson that I've learned about adjusting to being housebound is, first of all, to just be gentle on yourself. It is such an unusual situation that we're in. This is not something that you've trained for. It's not something that we're sort of raised to do. And so it's going to be tough in the beginning. And the important thing is to realize we're not all strong in all our in all the aspects of our personality. Some of us are strong in some areas, and those exact areas are where others are weak. So, for example, there are some people in my situation who would be fantastic with the housework and the cleaning, and they're just, an opportunity to be off work would just be an opportunity to spring clean, and they'd really enjoy that. The strength of theirs, and that's a weakness of mine.
Me too.
Okay, so whatever your weakness, I'm saying just be gentle with yourself. The way I like to look at it is that part of yourself, that aspect of your personality, is a little bit like a 3-year-old child. It's stroppy. It doesn't like to be criticized or picked out. It's going to lash out sort of in a like a temper tantrum kind of a way.
Right.
And to realize that that 3-year-old part of yourself, it's your inner child, if you like, needs to be handled like a 3-year-old child. So what's the word? Use patience,
Absolutely.
and understanding. you know, and maybe you need to distract the child. Just,
Yes.
you know, give that inner child of yours something to play with, you know,
Yes.
just keep them busy so that they actually don't have to disrupt the rest of the family, you know, all your sort of the other parts of your personality, which are more mature and more rational.
Yeah.
And as long as you understand that there is that vulnerable part of yourself, you can attend to it. So I'm just thinking, for example, you know, some people are very vulnerable to bad news and negativity.
Yes.
If that's your weakness, then just stay away from the bad news. Don't
Excellent.
watch the negative news on TV or the videos and the clips that are going around. Just avoid it. You don't have to be up to date. If you're not responsible for it, it's really quite fine to
Yes, it
sort of
becomes
isolate
addictive.
yourself
So
from
you
that.
want to cut that back, even if you just put some boundaries on it, because it really can take
Boundaries.
over your life.
Yeah, boundaries is a fantastic word. Yeah. And then, for example, if you know that pain is one of your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, you're vulnerable to sort of feeling emotional or physical pain, whatever it is, protect yourself and soothe yourself in whatever way you need. And if it's physical, then, you know, maybe you need to just take a soothing bath. And if it's emotional pain, maybe you just need to vent, or at least not necessarily vent, cry on the shoulder of a
Yes.
really compassionate
Good
friend. Yeah. If you are vulnerable to, you know, for example, self-pity, I think also just you can express yourself in things like writing or painting or something, and then you're turning something which is a painful thing into something which can be quite expressive and creative, and can ultimately distract you completely from the sadness to a sense of real achievement, which is nice.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah.
And
Then
then
I had
maybe,
one.
well, fear is always one of the ones that we,
Oh my
might
goodness.
have.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us fear different things. So if that's a vulnerability, what do you advise there?
You know, I think, you know, like you would distract a child, give them like a really happy movie to watch, you know. Watch a really good happy family movie, you know, the ones that go out at Christmas time, the feel good type, you know. That the world is a nice place, and human nature, at least, you know, there is the triumph of the human spirit. We will come through this kind of, you know, those kind of things. Give yourself hope. And, you know, I think with all of these things, as I say, realize that we're not strong in every area. If you know your weakness, you can do something about it, but be patient with yourself. It's not the time for self-improvement until we've got to the place where we are fully reconciled with this is the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Until you got to that place, just give yourself some grace, some license to be a little bit, you know, immature in that area, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's actually a trend I'm seeing across the world where people are being asked to share photographs that are beautiful, beautiful, you know, scenes and landscapes of beauty, whether it's a seascape or a mountainscape or anything that is beautiful. And it's intended to just replace those negative messages with something beautiful and calming. And in the same way, I think we can do that in our own lives. Yes, lovely. Wow. So,
and of course, music is a wonderful way of soothing the emotions, because of course I can't see the pictures, but I know for myself, beautiful music, you know, stuff that is very uplifting to the soul, that is very helpful.
Lovely. Yeah. So just to summarize, you said, you know, we have different weaknesses and vulnerabilities. So some of us are vulnerable to bad news, some to pain, some to fear, some to self-pity, and some to boredom. And all those areas, I think you've really given us some great advice today. Thank you, Lee. So yes, just to close off, we're going to see you tomorrow, everybody. And we are finishing off episode 4, so we're going on to day 5 tomorrow of our lockdown. And look forward to chatting to you. Just remember, all the details of contacting Leanne and her blogs and her books are on her website. And look at the bottom of this video, you'll see the information there. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Karen.
Bye.